initiative, which effectively works in the field of his valuable contribution to various law journals and informative lectures on intellectual property rights at various workshops organized by Jammu and Kashmir government, NLSIU Bangalore, Go Economics, IIT Bombay, and other schools are worth recognizing. Implication of Internet on Trademark. Thank you, sir, for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for giving your precious time, and we welcome you on board. But before we get started, we would request our Vice Principal, ma'am, to kindly address the audience. I would now like to request our coordinator for BAF to please address the audience.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Again, after the break, we are here together for the technical session 2. We welcome you, Sajid Sheikh, sir, on behalf of Prahladrai, Dalmia, Lions College of Commerce and Economics, Department of BAC. We are happy to have you, sir, today. You may take over the session, sir. Thank you.
Am I audible? Check.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
All right, thank you. So, actually, someone is presenting the screen right now. So, if it can be stopped, then I may start.
It has stopped, sir. It has stopped.
All right. First of all, a very good afternoon to all of you, and especially thanks to all the coordinators, IQAC team who has arranged this very interesting program on copyrights and trademarks and the implications of internet on these two particular intellectual property rights. And as you know, the national IPR policy, which is there, it talks about that more and more IP awareness should be undertaken. More and more training in the field of intellectual property right, more and more capacity building in the domain of intellectual property right should be done. And even our national education policy also resonates that skill development should be done in this regard. And really, again, I congratulate IQAC for taking up this very initiative. When we talk about intellectual property rights, all of you must be knowing this very thing. IPR, they are the creation of human mind. They're the creation of human intellect. And if I may ask a question, if I want you all to just think about this very question, that what our life would be without the mobile phones which we use these days, without the alarm clock, without the computer, without any form of innovation, without even books which we read. Of course, it would, if someone has to think about it, it is difficult to think. It would be, a lifeless like of form. We might be thinking that this is the form we'll be living in without these innovations. And these innovations, they help us live our life in a very, very smooth manner. And these days, every time, 24/7, you need to have your mobile phone with you. Without this mobile phone, life cannot be thought of nowadays. So in this regard, like intellectual property rights, they become very, very important. They have become the part and parcel of our human life. And specifically, I'll be talking about trademarks and the related topics which have been given to me. But let me try and share my PowerPoint presentation, which is there. If you give me a second. I hope the screen is visible to all of you. Are my slides moving?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So I just want all of you to have a look at this very image, this graphic which I've taken from internet. Without copyright law, art would not exist. Without patent law, inventions would not exist. Without real estate law, land would not exist. And without marriage law, love would not exist. So this question, just kindly ponder upon this very question and try to understand whether these very statements are true or not. And this brings us to the next question. Like, see, we are living in this very knowledge era where internet is there, and we feel that yes, everything should be freely to share. Even Advocate Hiren, he talked about importance of protection of copyright and how it is being diluted in the internet era. But sometimes as students, as the users, we feel that yes, everything should be free. Why a kind of a monopoly is being granted to someone? And this question...
Excuse me, sir. Very sorry to interrupt you. So we are not able to see your PPT, sir.
Yeah, okay. Now?
It's visible, sir.
It is visible? Okay. Thank you. So again, have a look at this very image, because these questions are there, very essential questions are there, which say that if such and such protection with respect to these intellectual property rights will not be there, then all these very creations, innovations, all these will not exist. And this brings me to this kind of a justification which I want to give you, that why these very IPs should be protected, before I move on towards the trademark and impact of the internet. The understanding I'll take is from certain philosophers who have laid out certain theories with respect to the justification of these very, not only these very intellectual property rights, but generally for other properties as well. One is Jeremy Bentham, who has laid down this very theory of utilitarian theory. He says utilitarian theory talks about greatest good of greatest number. It means that when an innovation comes to the market, it brings in a kind of a happiness to the people. And isn't it true? When a new mobile phone comes to the market, when we buy a particular mobile phone, when we get an access to a particular technology, a particular book, a particular novel, when we're able to watch a new movie, we become very, very happy. And again, in this very utilitarian theory, another kind of a subset is there which talks about incentive theory. Incentive theory. It says that if the creator is not being given a kind of an incentive, he'll not create that very innovation, he'll not create that very movie, mobile phone, so on, so forth. So this protection of that very intellectual property right, which the government grants, it is an exclusive right which the government grants to the creator of the IP, it is a kind of an incentive that yes, your work will be protected. Your work will not be used by anyone without your permission. And that is why this utilitarian theory becomes very, very important. And secondly, one more philosopher, John Locke, he has talked about labor theory. He says that, see, there are things which are available freely for all. If someone invests his own labor into that very thing and makes that very thing more creative, more useful, it is his hard work which is investing in that very thing. And in that very manner, he should get the right of appropriation of that very thing. He should become the owner of that very thing on which he has invested in his labor. And same is, if you apply this to the intellectual property right, you see a painter who has painted, a writer who has written something, a person who has created a kind of an invention, a technology. It is his labor. He should be able to reap the benefits of his labor, and that is why his right should be protected. His intellectual property should be protected. And personality theory, many propounders are there. Hegel is there. Immanuel Kant is then. They say that if someone is creating a kind of a property, especially intellectual property, he is in a manner transferring his personality into that very thing, his personality into his creation. Imagine about a writer. He writes a script. It is his personality which is depicting into that. It is his talent. And similarly with respect to say novelists, similar with respect to the painter, there are singers who play or write different kind of genres itself. Arjit Singh, always sad, forever sad kind of a singer, people say. Maybe certain rappers, they only talk about particular kind of a genre. So it is the kind of a personality they put into that very creation. So because it is their very personality, this very IP should be protected. And lastly, it is one of new theories which is called as the social planning theory, which says that IP in some manner, it is trying to create a just and effective culture. Just culture, a new kind of a culture is being created by the intellectual property rights. And it is also true, if with this very example, I want to tell you, why do you think that innovation these days are happening with respect to COVID-related medicine, COVID-related vaccines, with respect, of course, mobile phones? Every month, there are at least 2 or 3 new models of mobile phone with new technologies which are coming up. 5G phone technology is now there in the market. Anti-cancer drugs are being prepared. Of course, a lot of research and development is happening in this very field. A lot of money is being spent, is being invested in research with respect to all these very areas. And because there is a kind of a demand in the market, which is in a manner trying to create a culture which the society wants. We want new technology. Okay, and if we will not protect this very intellectual property right, these very innovations will not happen. But again, some of the scholars say, see, we are talking about, because of course some of you also belong to the economics department, what I understand. You will see that, if we are trying to give a monopoly, it is against competition. Again, we have in the legal sphere, we have competition law, which says that unfair competition should not be there. People should be freely allowed to trade in the market. But my dear friends, when we are talking about IP, we are talking about a limited monopoly, not an unlimited monopoly. Okay. Therefore, as Advocate Hiren was talking about, that copyright is protected for a limited period of life, for 60 years. And of course, the periods with respect to patent is 20 years, and so on and so forth. I'll definitely be talking about what is the protection in trademarks in my presentation. Now, coming to the main theme of this very presentation, which is the implication of internet on trademarks. Firstly, let us understand this very digital space. I've taken some figures from Hootsuite website. How much internet has been infused in our daily lives? Because I said, you can see the total population. It is the figure of January of 2020. 7.75 billion, is the population. And how many population uses mobile phone, which is around 67% of the people use mobile phone. And how much population is use internet in either in the form of mobile or in the form of a laptop, in some manner they use internet, which is around 59%. More than half of the population all over the world, this is not Indian statistics, these are the world statistics I'm talking about. Half of the population is dependent or is using internet in some manner or the other manner. And how many of them are active on social media? Because when we talk about internet, of course, Hiren sir also refer to a lot of social media apps. We cannot leave social media users out from the discussion of this when we talk about internet. 3.80 billion people use social media every day. And which is, the percentage is not less, 49%. These are figures of Jan 2020. I'm sure because of this prolonged pandemic which is there, I'm sure the dependence upon the internet must have grown many folds. You know, during the pandemic, people had no other things to do. So many of these very apps like Netflix, apps like Zeal, apps like Hotstar, they provided some trial versions. They said, okay, for 1 or 2 months, it will be free for all. Because at least we need some kind of an entertainment, some kind of a content to keep ourselves busy. Now in this very domain of internet, because when I said internet, I talked about social media, various websites come in. Just try and imagine about certain brands which you find out daily on the internet. Nowadays, what has happened with respect to the ads, advertisements, online advertisements. Earlier, now gone are those very days when ads were there on newspapers, ads were there only on, still there are on newspapers, I'm just saying only on newspapers, only on TV platform, only on radio platform. Gone are those days. Now, before those very ads or products come into through all these very advertising medias, you easily can find about all those very kind of products on social media sites, on ads, on the websites which you access day in and day out. Because of these very advertisement, so much infusive advertisement campaigns upon which thousands of crores and crores, all these very big giants who want to advertise their very products, they spend upon these very kind of an advertisements. Now, one is, I talked about advertisements. Now I want to go a bit more basic. When you go to a particular market, when you go to Kiryana store, go to mall, go to any kind of a shop. If I ask you, there is a toothpaste brand called Colgate, or there is a brand called XYZ, which brand will you purchase? This is a question which you just have to think about. And of course, I know the answer. The answer will be that you will purchase Colgate. If I tell you XYZ kind of a mobile phone is there, which you haven't heard about, and say Apple mobile phone is there, if you'll be asked, okay, what mobile phone gift you want, which brand mobile phone gift you want, you will 100% say, okay, fine, XYZ, I don't know, give me Apple. There is a kind of a quality which is associated with that very brand. There's a kind of a goodwill which the people have in the market with respect to that very brand. And that is why if there is an Apple mobile phone or a Samsung mobile phone, Apple mobile phone will be maybe 70,000 rupees, Samsung mobile phone will be 30,000 rupees, there will still be people who will be ready to shell out that very extra amount of money to purchase an Apple brand. That is the goodwill, that is the quality and the reputation which is associated with Apple. And see, if new products come into the market, okay, whatever products we know, we have used, keep that aside. New products come into the market. Apple says, I have launched iPhone 13. will people purchase that very mobile phone? The answer is that yes, these people will purchase that very mobile phone which they have not even used. Maybe they have not even seen that very mobile phone, but only because of that very branding, those very people will use that very, those very people will be able to shell out the money. They will want to shell out the money and purchase that very brand. So, why I gave these very basic examples. I want you all to understand the importance of trademark. So much importance is there of trademarks in all our daily lives. Without these very trademarks, we cannot imagine our life at all. And we will not be able to recognize one product from the another product. And this brings me to the definition of the trademark. What is a trademark? Of course, mark. It will be a mark. Mark is a sign, symbol, numerals, words, image, or something like that. What is the function of this very trademark? The function of this very trademark is that it distinguishes the goods and services of one person from the goods and services of the another person. Apple products, it distinguishes. These are Apple products. Produced, manufactured, sold, whatever by Apple Incorporated. On the other hand, Samsung brand trademark is there. Of course, all these very products, maybe Samsung watch, Samsung headphones, whatever the Samsung Note 7, whatever Note is there, all these belong to Samsung brand. So by this very mark itself, we are able to distinguish between these two kind of goods and services, that these very goods and services are belonging to these very parties. And of course, this is the function of the trademark. Only it distinguishes. It ensures that I am not confused between product A and product B. Okay, and the whole, when we talk about the whole discussion with respect to the trademarks revolves around this very confusion only. Because, for example, in this very case, if I am the person having XYZ trademark of mine, and if I'm showing that my brand is XYZ, and I'm just placing Apple on my brand, Apple logo on my brand, what will happen? It will cause a kind of a confusion to the public. Okay, and therefore our discussion will revolve around these very confusions. What will happen if such confusion is there? What will happen to the reputation of these very trademarks if such kind of practices are being done? Whether these very practices are allowed, whether not allowed, to what extent these are allowed or not. These very things we'll be discussing in our discussion. And on the screen you can see certain trademarks are there. I'm sure you might be able to identify around 90-95% of brands you must have been able to identify. Now, what is the term of protection of trademarks? Because I said that a kind of a limited monopoly is there when we are talking about intellectual property. But in the case of trademarks, the term of protection of that very trademark is initially for a period of 10 years, which can be renewed perpetually. Forever it can be renewed again and again. After every 10 years, it can be renewed. But then you may ask, sir, is it not that, it is an unlimited kind of monopoly which a person is getting? Of course not. It is not an unlimited monopoly, because it is not like I have registered a particular trademark, it will be mine forever. But the point to be noted is that I can retain that very trademark if it is legally protected for 10 years plus 10 years plus 10 years and so on, if I am actually using that very trademark with respect to my goods or services. Under the Trademark Act itself, there is a very important clause that even after registration, if you are not using your trademark within a period of 5 years from the registration, your trademark is liable to be cancelled. If Google is not using his brand Google with respect to all these very services, I can register that very mark Google. Please understand. But of course, that is not the case. Google is a very, very big giant. We are, the only the brand value. I'm not talking about the services it offers. I'm just saying the brand value of this very colored words is so much which we cannot imagine right now. So, various examples I'll give you about the trademarks. All these very brands you must have come across in your daily life. Classmate, Nokia, these are big, big brands. Even Levi's and Sony, they are big brands. But when I'm saying brands as names, the words are there. And if, you ask me a question, sir, can we copyright our name? Answer is that name cannot be copyrighted. But if you'll ask me, sir, can we trademark our name? Answer is that yes, you can trademark your name. Why you cannot trademark, why you cannot copyright your name is because of this very provision which is there, which is called as de minimis rule. De minimis rule, which says that something which is so minute cannot be copyrighted. Okay, but which is something very, very minute. For example, these names, etc., they're very minute. They cannot be protected under the copyright law. But yes, as I said here, Sony, Levi's, it can be Sajid, it has been Tata, it has been Reliance, maybe Ambani brand can also be trademarked. And symbols are also there. See this very tick mark sign. If you will not read this very Nike, only if you'll see this very tick mark, you'll understand, okay, yes, from the symbol itself, you can understand that it is a product of Nike. So these are the trademarks can be in these very forms also, like, all these things are there. And later, Facebook, HP, only like names are there, HP, P for Pinterest, M for McDonald's, and they're in different kind of a shape in order to show that very, yes, this is distinctive, okay, from one another, it is there. Numerals, 7-Up, Formula 1, F1. So I told you, either numerals itself can also be there. Apart from 7-Up, 8 PM is also there, which is a very big soda brand. Okay, so F1, it can either be a single number, group of numbers. 555 BD. I don't know if you have heard about it. So it can be a combination of a name, letter, device, anything. When I'm saying device with respect to trademark, I'm talking about image. Okay, image is called as device under the trademarks. Okay, it can be a combination of colors also. Louis Vuitton's red color, when applied to shoes, it is protected under trademark. Not in India, but in many other countries, it is protected. Shape marks are also there. This Coca-Cola bottle, it is having a unique kind of a bottle. It is recognized as a shape trademark. And again, another example is this very zipper lighter is there. This is also registered as a shape trademark. I'll be talking about some more details about when a shape trademark cannot be trademarked. And here I want to give an example. You must have eaten this Kit Kat. Kit Kat chocolate is there. The box, rectangular box which runs parallel to each other, that kind of a shape is there of Kit Kat. Now Kit Kat wanted that yes, this whole the bar of the Kit Kat should be protected under the trademark law. They approached for protection. They were not granted protection. Why they were not granted protection? Under Indian law, if you'll see, and I'll tell you, that shape mark cannot be protected if it is functional. Some kind of functionality is there. So it was seen in this case of very Kit Kat bar that the features of shape are such which is giving it a functionality. What is that very functionality? Or functionality आप जब तोड़ते हैं ना KitKat को बड़ी easily से that very in single bars it breaks off. That is the functionality. And functionality under the intellectual property rights protect किया जाता है by the virtue of patent law. When we say innovation, invention, okay. But anyhow, shape marks are also there. Jaguar का जो है वो shape में भी आता है. The car logo is there. Shape mark is there also. Soundtracks, very interesting. Sound marks are also called. These, for example, सुना ही होगा, you know, Audi, the kind of a heartbeat sound is there. Yahoo, if you have heard about Yahoo jingle, Yahoo, something like that, it is there. Nokia ringtone, you know, when people come and, you know, shake the hands, and of course, a kind of a music is there, and you can recognize, you know, because Nokia phones, they were very popular, and they were the only brand which was popular many years ago in the beginning of in 1990s, 2000 till 2004-5, they were so much popular. So sound mark can also be registered in India. Okay. And again, these product marks are there. Why I'm saying product mark? Because Cadbury sells a particular product. What is the product? Product is chocolate. Coca-Cola, drinks. Nestle, again, chocolates. Many other things are there, coffee and all. Service marks, you'll see. MasterCard. Are they selling a product? No, they are selling a kind of a service, which is a financial service. Similarly, the Paytm. Paytm is selling what kind of service? The financial service. So all these very things are there. You know, some marks can be categorized under like service mark and as well as product mark also. So it can be there. But just for your kind of understanding, it is, you know, because Hiren ji gave an example of Dr. Reddy's lab. Is Dr. Reddy, which you know about in the medical field, is a very big name. You know, they are a laboratory for testing for certain ailments and all. So they are not selling any kind of product, but they are selling a kind of a service. Okay, so restaurants, etc. Many examples can be there, so on and so forth. But interestingly, many other kind of marks are also there. One are the certification marks. Certification marks are those very marks which certify a product's origin, material, quality, accuracy, or some other characteristics. You know, with respect to industrial products, if you go to a market, you want to buy a kind of machine, hardware machine. Your parents say, okay, purchase only that very thing on which ISI mark is there. Indian standard mark is this. Egg mark on the food products which you eat. How do you identify which one is a vegetarian product, which one is a non-vegetarian product containing maybe egg? See on the screen, on the left-hand side, in the middle of your screen, the images are there. 7 different kind of certification marks, and just if you can analyze some of them, I'm sure egg mark you can recognize, and the other mark is also there. FPO mark is also there, and with respect to milk, quality of milk mark is also there. ISI is also there. So many such kind of marks are there with respect to ascertain and to certify the quality or certain kind of a characteristics of a product. So these very marks are there. And what these marks are called as certification marks. Now there are certain marks which are called as collective marks. Collective marks, for example, there is a kind of an association which has registered a particular mark. Reliance Industries Limited, they have registered a collective mark. Tata, it's a collective mark because many people, they have come together and registered this very mark. It is collective mark denotes a kind of an association, right? Now, of course, these marks are there, but I want to talk something beyond these very marks. You must have watched cartoon movies. MGM. This is used, this you must have seen with respect to certain cartoons, etc. DreamWorks mark you have seen. 20th Century Fox mark you have seen. All these very marks, they start with a kind of a graphic, a motion graphic, along with an audio as well. I told you that yes, with respect to the sound mark, you can of course register particular sound mark. Why you can register particular sound mark? Because the criteria for registration of a trademark is that it should be able to graphically be represented. It should be able to be graphically represented. Graphically represented means, of course, on a piece of paper, on a something, we should be able to represent that very trademark. Of course, one criteria is that, and second criteria is that it should be distinctive in nature. Distinctive word है distinct. Distinct मतलब अलग होना चाहिए. जब हम कहते हैं अलग होना चाहिए, it means that अलग किसके मन से होना चाहिए वो अलग, from the point of view of the consumers, right? So if it has some kind of a distinctive property, तो ठीक है. So motion marks are also protected, not particularly in India per se, but in many other countries it is protected. But I'll tell you, in India also nowadays they are being protected. How? There is an example of Microsoft. जब आप विंडोज लैपटॉप या कंप्यूटर ऑन करते हैं, आप देखेंगे वो हल्का सा ब्लर होते होते that marks come up. So how was that very mark protected? It was protected in the form of a flip book. They said, okay, represented graphically. कैसे represent किया गया? वो एक flip book बनाई उन्होंने. On that very flip book, they show that very mark moving. Okay, so you know, these very आजकल on online forums, all these very things are being very, very popular. People show their very creativity in the form of flip book. So in that very sense, it was protected. Now another thing is that smell mark. You know, certain big brand perfumes are there. They have a unique kind of a smell. You can just smell. Chanel is a brand which you can just smell. But again, smell marks, they are protected in many other countries, not particularly in India. Okay, why it is not protected? Because वही बात हो गई मैंने, when I said that criteria is graphical representation should be there, उसको आप एक smell को कैसे represent करेंगे? But in many other countries this argument is there कि even smell can be represented. आप describe कर सकते हैं smell को, आप describe कर सकते हैं fragrance को. So in that very manner, or maybe if it is a chemical, आप एक chemical formula में भी इसको लिख सकते हैं along with that very representation. But so point is that you should understand that ऐसे भी mark exist करते हैं, not particularly in India because of our rigid trademark law. Taste mark भी वैसा है. Sound marks का तो मैंने बताया, it can be registered. Apart from this, personality marks की बात है. You know, SRK, SRT, all these are registered trademarks. शाहरुख खान and सचिन रमेश तेंदुलकर के ये trademark already हैं. But why I brought this discussion here? There was one case, जिसमें you must have heard also. Amitabh Bachchan, his voice is a very unique kind of a voice. He has a unique baritone kind of a voice. So his voice was used with respect to a gutka product. Okay, and not his actual voice was used. His voice was imitated by someone, and gutka brand was advertised in that very manner. Now, you know what happened because of that. People thought, जिनको ज़्यादा फिल्में कम ही देखते हैं, but ठीक है, they know about Amitabh Bachchan. No, everyone knows about Amitabh Bachchan. So they thought, okay, Amitabh Bachchan is advocating for this very gutka brand. Gutka brand, you know, gutka cause injury or harm to health. Okay. So what happened? Amitabh Bachchan, through his producers and all, he filed a case against this very gutka brand. Just pardon, I think someone is having his mic unmute. Okay, kindly be mindful. Anyhow, I'll continue. So actually he won the case. Why he won the case? Not because of this very trademark. Let me clarify that if someone says Sajid sir ने बोल दिया कि trademark किया जा सकता है इन चीज, no, your personality cannot be trademark. Love and Kush. Yeah, can you please mute yourself?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. So I was talking about this Amitabh Bachchan. So the personality cannot be trademarked as such under the Indian trademark law. But what I'm saying, everyone has a right to privacy. Right to privacy कहाँ से आ गया? Right to life and personal liberty, Article 21 of the Constitution of India. उसके अंदर ही सब rights आते हैं. So you cannot just in a manner use anything just like that. So he won that very case. Again, strangely, what Amitabh Bachchan found, there was a huge billboard. Advertisement होती है, marketing करते हैं. आप road पे जाते हैं, on the right hand side, left hand side, huge billboards are there. On that very billboard, his photo along with his wife's photo was there, and it was mentioned कुछ Rajkumar or Rameshwar jewelers. So his image was used without his permission. अभी किस law में आएगा? Copyright में आएगा? Of course no. Maybe copyright में तभी आ सकता है if that very photo has been clicked by someone else who is invoking his rights. वो कह रहा है कि it is my photograph. I have clicked this very photograph. I am the copyright holder of this very photograph. You are infringing my copyright. वो बात नहीं थी इस केस में. It was only his photograph was there. कहाँ से आई? No one was able to find out. But here also court recognized कि see, maybe under trademark, because it is not a kind of a trademark, but under the personality right of the celebrity, we can protect such kind of a right also. और इस तरह की काफी सारी चीजें you'll see on internet, memes are being created, many things are happening these days. Whether it can be protected or not, a big question is there. And with respect to each kind of a violation, we have to go very, very deeper into the facts and circumstances of that very particular case. So I have told you that two important criteria are there, that the mark should be distinctive. Distinctive hoga, tabhi it will be able to distinguish one good and product from the other good or product. And if it is deceptively similar, then it means it is an infringement. ठीक है? So many times you must have heard about marks like those who stay in villages or those who have gone to villages. What you will find, FROOTA, fruity is there. Okay, it's a drink, a brand hai, fruity, very much known by everyone. I myself have witnessed in villages FROOOOOTI. Everything looks like the same. Color combination, everything is the same. The trade dress, everything is the same. So in that very manner, people are being confused. वो mango by toffee आती है. Same kind of mango light kind of a name was there, and the same kind of, it looked like किसने कोई बोलेगा mango bite दे दो ले लो. And there was one ad of Bisleri. He asked, okay, give me Bisleri. He gave any other kind of a brand, because some brands have become so much common. Bisleri or the packaging, the color combination, everything will look like that very only. But it is not the same. It is infringement. Why it is infringement? Because there is a deceptive similarity. Deception, dokha. When I talk about confusion, this is the deception which happens in the mind of the people. And that is why deception should not happen. Why? You'll say, sir, you are an educated person. You can distinguish between FROOTI and FROOOTI. It is not about me alone. It is about common person, common layman who might be educated, who might not be educated. If people, largely people like who do not pay much heed to all these very brands or may not be so much literate, if you'll ask something, okay, bisleri dena, something green, they'll purchase and they'll be live happily. They'll not question about that whether it was an original product or a counterfeit product. But what is happening in this regard, I'll tell you, friends. What will happen if you all will start drinking FR00, triple O or 5-OTI? You will think, okay, the taste is not good, the quality is not good, and in a manner you'll think that, okay, ab to fruity brand ki quality hi khatam ho gayi hai. Let us try some other kind of a brand. Let us try Maaza brand now. So what is happening? The goodwill of the fruity brand, the original fruity brand, is being taken down in the market, is being tarnished in the market. So I just talked about all these very aspects, and many all these very issues of deceptive similarity, they are there everywhere. Okay. Now, one more important question I want to address here itself only. Just as you discussed in the earlier presentation, that trademarks, that copyright, it is not mandatory to register copyright. You get an automatic protection, but yes, you can register also your copyright. Similarly, in trademarks also, there is no requirement of a mandatory registration of a trademark. If you register your trademark, yes, well and good, you get a protection against infringement. Infringement kya hota hai? Infringement happens when somebody else uses your trademark. It is infringement if you have registered your trademark. Now, what is the remedy when your trademark is not registered? There is a remedy under the civil law or the common law, which is called as passing off. Passing off tab hota hai when we say कि somebody else is passing off his or her own goods as my goods. मतलब if मैं अपने पेन के ऊपर एप्पल की लोगो लगा के बेच रहा हूं, ये simple case of infringement है. Why infringement? Because Apple is registered mark. ये passing off होता when Apple is not a registered brand. It means I am passing off. मैं बता रहा हूं, बेच रहा हूं मेरे अपने goods as these very goods are of Apple. लोग तो खरीदेंगे, बोलेंगे अच्छा एप्पल का पेन आ गया है, 10 रुपए में बिक रहा है, मैं तो रातों रात करोड़पति हो जाऊंगा. Okay, so these things may happen. So the point is that registration of trademark is not mandatory, but yes, you can register it. Now you will ask me a question, sir, why is there a need to register this very trademark? Registration is very, very important because I told you these very people do not want to go into unnecessary litigation, or these people do not want that someone else may come in front and register this very trademark while I am just happily doing my work. And because the value of these very trademarks, it is very, very so commercial, so high, that it is very, very important to understand that yes, trademark registration should be done in all the circumstances, all the cases. Okay, otherwise kya hota hai? You will be asked to show before the court the evidence that yes, who started using this very product earlier. Or aisa bhi nahi hai ki earlier shuru kiya. For example, I started using my product, using a trademark XYZ from 1st January 2020. My friends started using the trademark XYZ, I'm saying unregistered, both unregistered, from 5th of January 2020. दोनों 2020 में है, 5 दिन का difference है. And what has happened, my friend's trademark becomes so much popular all over India. So who will get that very protection? That protection will be given to the person जिसका goodwill है market में. Maybe I'll be allowed to use that very trademark only within my community जहाँ पे people know about my mark. But if his mark has more goodwill, then again, the kind of protection which he'll get will be more than what the protection I will get. So therefore, because of these marks are so much commercial nature, you never know tomorrow how much your brand will grow. Therefore, it is always advisable to register the trademark. Now, all these were examples of confusion, etc. They cannot happen only like in the physical medium. Yahan pe, I have sold a particular kind of product, but also due to the internet era. I told you, mobile phones pay ads are there, everything. We can get deceived so much. You know about all these very online internet frauds which are happening. Sometimes they say, Acha, you make a payment, you'll click on a particular link, you'll find Acha puri bank ki website khul gayi hai. But it is not that very bank's website. Okay, they have replicated a different kind of a website altogether, and they are just trying to show that they are the true bank website, and you need to just put in your PIN, etc. So always be aware of those very frauds. So not only in that very sense, but also with respect to domain names. Now domain names, because this is very much related to internet. You know, domain names are the names of particular websites. We'll put in those very website on our Internet Explorer, and if we have a good internet connection, we'll be able to reach that very website, and we'll be able to purchase or surf or whatever we want to do with respect to that very website, or the services that very website is selling, or the product that very website is selling. Big giant search engines are there, google.com, yahoo.com. You are aware about those very search engines. Now, these very domain name is divided into three parts. www kya hai? World Wide Web. Google is a name, and com is a top level domain. TLD bolte hain isko, TLD. Similarly, .in is there. It is a geographical TLD, top level domain. .in, .uk, .ca, Canada, .pk. You just heard earlier. So this is the trademark. Now, can domain name be registered as a trademark? See, I'll tell you, domain name is separately registered with ICANN, ICANN, International Association for Applied Name and Numbers. It is something like that. This kind of a organization is there internationally which registers all these very domain names. And nowadays, what has happened? पहले तो limited होते थे domains, this top level domains, .com, .co.in, .in, .gov, .gov.ac.in. You people know you cannot register, private party cannot register these very names having these very TLDs. So it is given to certain organization. India में जैसे अगर आपको you want to register something ac.in or .edu.in, you have to, there is a registrar, particular registrar, ERNet is there, which has the rights to allow registration of these very TLDs. And otherwise, other domain registrars are there, like GoDaddy is there, HostGator, Hostinger, all these very registrars are there wherein you can register all these very marks, all these very domain names. But under the trademark law, nobody registers this very thing, domain name as such. But of course, I don't think so any problem will be there. But the point is that both things are dealt separately. There's a registrar of trademark under the intellectual property right office is a separate one, and I told you ICANN, and this all registration is dealt by National Center for Software Technology in India. So there are different organizations which are registering these very trademarks. Okay. So if you now this is one thing. And what is the importance of domain names? Because everything is so dependent upon internet. If you want to purchase a particular product, there are e-commerce website. You can dial Amazon.com, Flipkart.com, Snapdeal, Shopclues, Agio.com, Mintra.com, Ethnic.coms are there. So much importance of these very e-commerce websites is there that even nowadays the local shopkeepers, they become very threatened by all these very websites, e-commerce websites which are growing up. Okay, and it is not about these very e-commerce website, but the domain names. I told you a separate registry is there with respect to these very domain names. And what happens, there are certain examples which I have placed in this very particular screen, that why what happens, if my name, if my company's name is Sajid, and I am not having this very domain name Sajid, and someone else has registered a domain name Sajid, is selling some other kind of product, what will happen? People will become confused, and they may try to associate my product, what I am selling, what my brand is, with those very those Sajid.com, which somebody else has registered, which is not associated with me. And in that very manner, what can happen? They can also tarnish my reputation, or they can misappropriate, they can what we can say, they can misuse my goodwill. People will think, okay, yes, the Sajid brand is there, of course this will be very good. Okay, so now I'll just show you that nowadays what kind of issues are happening with respect to all these very domain names. You must be aware, recent there was a news that Google has renamed its parent company as Alphabet. But this Alphabet is not owned by Google. This Alphabet.com, I'm saying, it's not owned by Google. It is owned by BMW. Okay, so now you'll ask me whether it is an infringement. Of course, it is not an infringement. Why it is not an infringement? Because if you are bona fidely using some kind of a brand, it is all right. Okay, if you will show that you are not trying to compare it with someone, it is your own bona fide brand, then you can use it. And Alphabet.com was registered way long ago, before this Alphabet company of Google came into being. Now with respect to Nissan, he had to fight with this man Uzi Nissan, and after 20 years it was able to acquire this very brand, this very domain Nissan, because it was registered by Uzi Nissan, which was a bona fide use. Now Apple, there was a website, apple.co.uk. It was registered by someone else dealing with some other kind of products, and Apple, after I think some kind of dealing must have happened between that company, apple.co.uk, and apple.com. So Apple incorporated that, they were able to acquire this very trademark after so long ago. And these examples, CIA.com, NSA.com, FBI.com, these are not registered by all these very government organizations, but have been registered by someone else. So in this very field, let me tell you about this very thing, because I've already discussed about these very top level domains. What happens, there is a concept, I think Advocate Hiren also touched briefly about it, cyber squatting. So what happens, if I know that Coca-Cola is a very big brand, what I'll do, I'll register Coca-Cola.pk. Maybe Coca-Cola.pk has not been registered. But what will happen, someone will try and log into this very Coca-Cola.pk and will think, okay, this is the products here listed are being sold by the Coca-Cola company itself. Okay, so in that very manner, and that I told you, because I gave you the examples of trademark dilution. What will happen? Trademark will be diluted. How trademark will be diluted? I will tell you here. By blurring. When I say blurring, what happens? That Coca-Cola is selling cold drinks. I will use this very brand Coca-Cola.co.pk or something like that, and I sell something unrelated. Okay, So this is called blurring. I am diminishing association of people with Coca-Cola as a drink manufacturer. I am trying to create a new kind of identity which was not of this very Coca-Cola as seller of maybe some shoes or something else. Tarnishment. Tarnishment will happen when I am selling a poor, cheap quality product using the same name. So people will think, okay, ये तो brand ही बेकार है, we should switch on to some kind of other brand. Or free riding. Free riding, what happens when I am saying my mobile phone is XYZ mobile phone is there. Chinese mobile phone is. I say just like Apple. This phone is similar to Apple. I use this very terminology in all my advertisements and something like that. What will happen? I am trying to create an association of my product with someone else's product, which is very, very well known. And when people will see, Acha, it is just like at Apple. Is it so? They will try and purchase my product. And then when they'll come to know that my product is of very poor quality, what will happen? Of course, Apple reputation will also go down. So sometimes the people, they try to compare their products with other person's product. But of course, comparison is totally fine if to the extent if it is true. If it is not true, then of course it cannot be done. The point is that, you know, that any kind of unfair advantage should not be taken up by someone. Okay, and that is why, you know, dilution is also a kind of an infringement which is there under the trademark law. Now, all these very domain names, the disputes related to domain names, they are covered under, there is a international policy which is there, which is called as Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy, wherein if there are certain disputes between the domain name holders, they can approach this very body and they can sort out their very matter. And of course, these very bodies, they have also certain dispute resolution associations also in various different countries also with respect to Asia, Canada, Australia, different bodies are there which help in resolution of these very disputes. But one more important thing I want to tell you about cyber squatting is that there are film stars. Okay, so what happens? People, they just try and register. Earlier, what used to happen? I told you, geographical top level domains, very limited were there. Now, top level domains have been opened up so vastly that anyone can register anything. You can have Sajid, www.sajid.sajid. You can have such a domain name also these days. So what happens? People, there's a film stars, Jennifer Aniston is there. They'll register jenniferaniston.com. It is not registered by Jennifer, who is the original film star. And they'll try to upload pornographic material on that very website. And if someone is trying to search out Jennifer Aniston, what will happen on the Google search result? That very website will come up. Okay, and you know, it will be a bad thing because unnecessary. Maybe if they are getting a kind of profit, in that very manner. But so such issues are there wherein domain grabbing is being done every day. You'll find many important domains. They are not working right now, but they are just grabbed and kept on hold by some people, and those will be sold on at, you know, very high cost by these very people. Okay, and normally, what is the cost of a domain name? It is like 1,000-1,500 rupees per year annual fee you have to pay to all these very domain registration authorities. But otherwise, millions and billions of dollars are being charged if in case such a domain name grabbing is being done to extort the money out of the individuals or the people. This is a very well business which is still there, but of course those things can be addressed by under this very policy, under the organizations, under the resolution authorities which are there. One more thing is there, typo squatting is there. Okay, which Hirenji also talked about. When typo squatting happens, when rediff.com is there. rediff.com is everyone knows about it. And usually what happens, we all in a very calm manner, maybe in a confusing manner, we may mistype a word. Rediff.com ko we may write as radiff.com. Okay, then what will happen? This very domain will come up of radiff.com. So something like that also should not be, is also, it is called as typo squatting. Now GOOGLE, DOOGEL. So something like that, someone may register same sounding words because people in different parts of there's so much intellectual diversity in the world, language diversity in the world, that some such kind of misspellings may happen anytime. And with respect to all the trademarks also, if my brand is Fruity, FROOTI, I cannot also register FROOTI. Similarly, I cannot register any such kind of brand, which is, here I have given an example, EXAMPLE, EXEMPLE if someone registers this very website. So this also is not allowed. Okay, and if example is registered as a trademark, then okay, fine, I can sue for infringement. Otherwise, the passing of action is available to me if I am the bona fide owner of a particular website. Okay, so again, trans-border reputation. So there was a case discussed by Indian Supreme Court with respect to Whirlpool. And this very trademark Whirlpool was held to have acquired reputation and goodwill in India. That yes, it is very much known to all. And there was another organization, Whirlpool Corporation, who had this very website, Whirlpool, available with them. And they were not using this very website for anything else. Only a company was there, and only nothing was being, the trademark was not applied to any kind of product or any kind of service, and they were still just using it. So court said that, so yes, this cannot be allowed, and because this Whirlpool is a well-known brand, it has acquired a trans-border kind of reputation, not only in India but outside also. It has a very good kind of a value. People know about it. And when I'm talking about this, let me also talk about well-known marks. All these very, not about well-known marks, firstly, normal trademarks, because in the registration process, I'll tell you, they are registered under particular classes. Particular classes kya hoti hai? Footwear is a particular class, food product is a particular class. So with respect to certain classes, these are registered. But there are certain brands, marks, which have become well-known. Well-known kaise ban gaye? Utni cross-border level pe people know about that very brand. For example, Google is so much big, Apple, all these very are well-known marks. Bajaj, Tata, all these very are well-known marks. And these very marks cannot be registered in any other class. For example, agar Apple brand is there, register only for mobile phone, we cannot register it for any other kind of class. Why? Because it is a well-known brand. Otherwise, I'll tell you, please understand, otherwise, if I have a Sajid as a brand for pen registered, anyone else can use Sajid for mobile phone. Why? Because when I told you what is the criteria is distinctiveness honi chahiye. People can easily distinguish between, okay, this is Sajid mobile is there, this is Sajid pen is there. So in that very sense, it can be done. But again, objections are filed. People, the parties involved, they have to show that how this is infringing upon their right. And again, it's a huge technical concept. But I'm saying that in a nutshell, the trademarks are registered only particularly with respect to their classes. And for well-known marks, it cannot be registered for any kind of class. If we'll go to IP India website, in the trademark section, you'll see the list of well-known marks which are recognized in India. Also, false advertisements. How, I'll tell you how these very even in the internet space also, in all ads you will find out. There was one ad I'll show you here, which I'm talking about here. Dettol, they have launched this very utensil washing soap. Okay, on the right hand side, this is of Vim, a harsh antiseptic or the power of 100 lemons. What is trying to denote? It is trying to denote that a harsh antiseptic is there. What is that, people? Everyone know about it. Dettol is a very harsh antiseptic. It's a very strong one also. But they are saying that, see, harsh antiseptic is not good, but what they are providing is a power of 100 lemons, and in a manner they are trying to tarnish the image of Dettol, which is also not allowed. Now, this very case was there of Bala Sundaram versus Jyoti Laboratories. You people must be aware about Jyoti Laboratories, Ujala brand. So what they showed in this very ad, they showed that this Ujala, 4 drops of Ujala were dropped in a particular bucket, and it gave a very bright white quality of that very shirt. And the other kind of brand said that, see, it is unfair competition. Why unfair competition is there? Because they are saying that yes, they are superior, everyone is inferior. Okay, and what they tried to say was that their Ujala is better than anyone else. So they said that, see, if I am saying that I am superior, they are not saying you are inferior. They are saying general products are inferior. One can always say that yes, we are superior. So this is not a kind of a case of disparagement. Disparagement, what happens? See, you'll see a lot of comparative advertisement is happening these days. Okay, people try and compare their various products. For example, this kind of comparison is there between Colgate and Pepsodent. Pepsodent, now better than Colgate Strong Teeth, delivers 130% germ attack power. If it is a true thing, they can always can compare. Comparative advertisements is allowed under our laws, and it is also not against. It is not also infringement. You can show, but you cannot falsely advertise anything. You cannot say that your toothpaste or your soap can destroy 100% bacteria. It is impossible to destroy 100% bacteria. That is why आप सारी ads देखते होंगे ना, 99.99% bacteria or germs they are able to kill. वहाँ पे आप देखेंगे एक bacteria रह जाता है. Why? Because they cannot claim something which is false. But again, my point is there that this kind of, if something is true, if they have the kind of a research, and आप देखेंगे नीचे disclaimer जैसे लिखा है ना, उस disclaimer में लिखा होता है independent survey or test done by this very body, this very association, and on those very tests they are saying these very things. Okay, if such kind of a thing is there, that is true. But another case also was there. New Pepsodent is better than leading toothpaste. If I say new Pepsodent is better than the what we can say well-known toothpaste or the leading toothpaste, people know about it. That it is talking about Colgate, because Colgate is the only leading toothpaste. And again, this matter went to the court, and it was held to be disparagement. Comparative advertisement is allowed, but when in the comparative advertisement, what is happening? We are saying that other product is very, very bad without any fact. We are saying that our product is very, very good than this very product, not general product, this very product. Then it is called as disparagement, and this is not allowed. And this very case, even they use a generic term, leading toothpaste brand. It is better, the new Pepsodent is better than leading toothpaste brand. Leading toothpaste brand kaun hai? You people know, Colgate hai. People will, in their mind only, they'll compare about this very thing. So it is a case of disparagement, which should not be allowed. Now, a very interesting thing, and I'll just take next 5-7 minutes only to conclude upon what I'm saying. Nowadays ambush marketing is also being done. I'll tell you what, in what manner it happens. आप देखते होंगे आईसीसी के मैचेस होते हैं, T20 के मैचेस होते हैं. देयर आर ब्रांड्स जो ग्राउंड को जो कवर as a brand, Vodafone as a brand, certain brands are there who pay cricket matches. There was IPL cricket match in 2017. The true owner of this very website, rediff.com, they won this very particular case. Another cases of Dr. Reddy Laboratories, there was one domain name Dr. Reddy's Lab, okay, and Dr. Reddy.com is already registered. So here also they said that these domain names, it was said that these domain names, they hold a very important position in e-commerce, and held that the defendants were liable in the passing off. So again, under passing off remedy, they were able to claim this very domain name itself. So and one more example with respect to SBI cards was the SBI cards earlier, SBI, now it is with the SBI, but earlier it was registered with someone else. And they brought this before the World Intellectual Property Organization, and and again it was held that yes, it is this kind of a domain name, this SBI cards. If it is with someone else, it is trying to create a kind of a confusion in the minds of the public, and this should not be allowed to be done. So many such cases are there with respect to the domain names and all. But again, with respect to the e-commerce websites, if you'll, there are websites like shopclues.com, websites like this snapdeal.com. You can find products at a very, very cheaper rate. And do you think that these products are the original quality ones? Of course not. These are not the quality ones. These are the fake copies, duplicate copies. This term is there, na, semi-original. There is nothing called semi-original. It is counterfeit products. They are selling counterfeit products. Nowadays, e-commerce websites also, what they are trying to do, वहाँ पे लिखते हैं ना, Flipkart assured, Amazon assured. So they are trying to show, by verifying the vendor, they're trying to show that yes, this very particular vendor is selling an original kind of a product. And my dear friends, when we talk about the internet and when we talk about the websites, why these very domain names become so much important is that I just saw the figure online. There are more than 340 websites being registered per minute all over the world. Imagine how in one day, in 1 year, and over all this very period of time, and it is increasing every day, the number is increasing every day, how many websites are being registered. And because of opening of all these very top level domains, like you can register amazon.amazon. So, but anyhow, all these very big giants, they are negotiating with the domain providers so that they can own the top level domain also. Earlier, what used to happen, you can only obtain domain name, not the top level domain. You cannot purchase .com. But now they're allowing such things to happen, because if such it will not, they'll not allow this thing. What will happen? Person can register xyz.amazon. People will think, अरे ये तो Amazon के products हैं यहाँ पे. So that kind of a confusion will be there in the minds of the people. So that is why nowadays because of the internet, it is very easy to deceive people. Even if you'll search on Amazon also, you will search on all these very websites along with authentic products also, but we may find some products which are not so authentic. So always we have to make sure that to do a background kind of research, because sometimes what happens, you purchase a product of one brand and you get a product of different brand. It looks same. Nowadays also there are organizations working in this very field. वहाँ पे क्या करते हैं, बस वो stamping ही करते हैं, ऊपर से packaging ही different करते हैं. So all these very issues are there, of course, and we should also ensure that unnecessary, we should not infringe over someone else's trademark. Why? Because, for example, if there is some kind of product, I cannot start selling any kind of product without getting a license from that very agency. Yes, if I have purchased one book which is with me, if I want to sell it to my friend, that I can do. That can be covered under the fair use. But I cannot become a distributor of a particular product if I am not obtaining it through proper channel. If I'm not purchasing it from a wholesaler who has the right to sell it to someone else. Okay, so all these things we have to take care. Nowadays also, see, incidental use is allowed. आप unboxing कर रहे हैं on YouTube about a particular product, वहाँ पे logos, brand name, it is being showed, that is totally fine. Why? Because it is under fair use. Because आप उस brand से कोई benefit नहीं ले रहे, you are just showing about that true thing कि वो brand क्या है, that product, how it is that very product functioning, that is totally allowed. But nowadays what has happened, and even incidental use in movies and also, अगर आप एक शूट कर रहे हैं कहीं पे, साथ में बाय चांस someone is wearing some Nike product, दिख गया, it is all right, that is incidental use, that is also covered under fair use in trademark, that is totally understood. But unnecessary, you cannot show, associate your whatever you're doing with a particular kind of a brand. That will be unfair nowadays. In order to avoid unnecessary litigation with respect to trademark, वो क्या करते हैं आप देखेंगे मूवीज में और ड्रामाज में भी, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, वो जहाँ पे किसने कुछ टी शर्ट पहना है कुछ बोला, ब्लर कर देते हैं. ओके, सो बट इट इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड कि वो ब्लर करें, बिकॉज वो इट इन्सिडेंटल यूज में स्टिल कैन बी कवर्ड, बट unnecessary litigation they do not want to take up. Okay, so this was all about my presentation on the implication of internet on trademarks. So if you have any question, I am ready to take up those very questions. Are you able to hear me? Hello? If any question is there, then of course just let me know.
Yes, sir. We are just checking.
All right. You can ask directly also, like if anyone wants to ask. Even like when we usually organize different programs for the university, and we cannot use somebody else's logo sponsored by, just without their permission. So that will be infringement of their very trademark. But definitely, like we can use if someone is conducting program through Google, this WebEx or Zoom, they can use Zoom and logos. That is covered fairly.
Students, if you have any questions, you can put it on in the message box, or you can ask it by unmuting yourself. So can we move for the vote of thanks? Yeah, I will request Rahul Yadav sir to propose a vote of thanks.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Sajid sir, for such an amazing session. I am sure our participants are enlightened. I would like to extend my grateful thank you towards our management, principal, vice principal of SFC and degree college, our IQSC coordinator, our BEF coordinator, along with the team for all kind of support. I would also like to thank our teaching and non-teaching staff who made sure we have all support available to us. Thank you so much. I can only think of one quote here. So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you all the organizers. Thank you all the students, participants. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. One.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And request, we are giving a feedback form. Please fill everyone.
Yeah, we are sending the feedback link in the message box. Please fill it out. Without fail, fill the feedback link.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope the feedback link have reached you. Open it out and fill it out. coordinator of BAFS would be addressing the speaker. Please wait for a few moments and then fill your feedback, and then we'll end the session with our national anthem.
Good evening, everyone. Hope the session was very wonderful. Thank you very much, Sajid sir. We are very honored to have you today as a resource person. It was really a very good session, a very wonderful informational session where you briefed up with lots of new important concepts. Rather, I was discussing with our faculties that sir has enlightened us with so many new things. So it was really a very wonderful session, sir, on our part. On behalf of Prahladrai Dalmia Lions College of Commerce and Economics, Department of BAF, in association with IQAC, I extend you a heartfelt thanks to everyone, sir, especially you. You took time, you were there in the inauguration also. Because of some technical glitch, we were not able to address you at that time. Very sincere apologies for the same, sir. Kindly consider that apologies, and it was very great to have you, sir. Thank you, wonderful participants. I would also like to thank our management, principals, both the degree and SFC vice principals, IQAC coordinator, and the whole team, and the wonderful participants who made the webinar a great success. I would like to share with all of you that it was a webinar with n number of different corners of India. We had participants from Hyderabad, Bihar, Karnataka, and so on. So it was a very fortune to have all of us with you. Kindly fill the feedback form. After filling the feedback form, please be there in the meet. We will be ending up with the national anthem. Thank you very much.
very warm national anthem to make our evening very pleasant. With this, we have come to the end of our webinar. We have sent a feedback link. Please make sure you fill that form so that you get your certificates. Make sure you fill the feedback form, only then you will get the certificate. Really very grateful to every participant over here from different parts of India who have given their time to us. It means a lot. I hope we could do justice to your time and your patience. I'm sure you have learned a lot from today's webinar with our very experienced speakers. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to fill the feedback form so that you get your certificate. And right now, everybody can start leaving the meeting. We call this event an end. Thank you.